Hey guys, so today I just wanted to mix things up, and so one of my big interests is, outside of training jiu-jitsu, I'm also, really interested in the history behind a lot of the most important figures in our sport and in our martial art. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about Fernando Augusto da Silva, also known as Terere, and just his impact on competitively, and jiu-jitsu as a whole. He's had such a big influence. Just being one person, he's had just this massive influence that we're still being affected by it today. So just wanted to mix it up a little bit. I think it's important that we need to focus on the current events going on in the jiu-jitsu community, but it's also really important that we look at those past figures, those guys that aren't really in the spotlight now, but they were 10, 20 plus years ago. And just kind of to show our history, and especially for newer people that are just getting into jiu-jitsu, they might not even learn about these guys anymore. So I have a friend back home, my friend DJ. Well, he's like a jiu-jitsu historian, so he kind of motivated me to want to do some videos like this, just to kind of keep promoting that history of our sport, and tell those stories and keep the history alive. So without further ado, we're just gonna be talking about today, and just a little bit about his history, and what he's accomplished, and what he's done, and who he's trained. So Teddy, for those of you who don't know him, he super great jiu-jitsu athlete, and just very technical person. Just so some facts about him. He was born in November 15th, 1979. Um, he has won the world championships at every belt. So starting from blue belt all the way up to black belt, like consecutively. So from 1997 all the way to 2000, he was winning world championships. So it's kind of cool to just see that, that some guys do that now, like, guys like Mikey Musumeci. But I mean, there have been guys like that in the past that were just killing everybody. So there's nothing new there. Um, Terere, he received his black belt at the age of 20 years old, and he received it from Alessandro Paiva, who is the head of the Alliance School in Rio de Janeiro. And he's also won, outside the World Championships, Terere has won numerous Pan Championships and Brazilian Championships. So, Terere is the real deal. And as far as like just training other students, he trained, guys that are super famous right now in our sport. Guys like Cobrinha, Andre Galvao, Lucas Lepri, Michael Langhi, my friend Hapa Hosindo in South Carolina. So he's just, a lot of the guys that are winning worlds now were, they were lower belts under Terere at some point back in the day. So he has the just the just the credentials of being one of the greatest jiu-jitsu competitors ever to exist. And Terere competed in the middleweight division, but I think he was kind of light for the middleweight, but just went middleweight. And man, just as far as competing, he's beaten some of the best guys, and he's gone against some of the best guys. I remember watching matches of him versus Ronaldo Jacare. Um, I've seen matches. There's a super famous match of Terere fighting up a weight class. He did the super heavyweight back in 2004. I'm not sure if it was a world championship, but he ended up fighting against the former UFC champion Fabricio Werdum. So it's just insane, some of the guys he's fought and beat. He's fought Marcelo Garcia, I believe twice, and man, Marcelo's, the GOAT, but man, back then, today was the GOAT. So it's just crazy. And he's had some other great matches. He had a really great Nogi match against, man, the guy's name not popping up in my head. against what's the guy in Boston? I can't. I'll put it in the comment section. But yeah, Terere is just amazing, and just his background. You know, he came out of the favelas in Rio, and then he did capoeira, and then from capoeira went to jiu-jitsu. So I think he kind of started that trend of capoeira artists going into jiu-jitsu. You know, guys like Cobrinha, and I think that really brought just a new kind of repertoire to the jiu-jitsu, um, just the technique. So he brought like the dynamic passing, the showmanship, the movement skills that he brought. You know, no one else was really doing. You know, and a lot of the passes that we do now, a lot of the moves that we do now, they actually come from Terere. So not only was he a good competitor, but he was also just just coming up with some crazy stuff back, that no one was really doing back then. So Terere, once he got his black belt, he moved to Sao Paulo, and from there he opened the TT team, man, TT team, we think you have like big teams now, like TT team, like just imagine being able to train with like Cobrinha and Andre Galvao and Lucas Lepri and Michael Langhi, but they're like purple belts and brown belts and stuff. Can you imagine just the high level training? And man, everybody from that era is good, dude. So it's just insane. So TT team, for those of you who don't know, it was Terere and Tellus. So these guys are both a part of the Alliance, I believe. I'm not sure if Terere or Tellus was, but there was a huge split, which I'll probably need to do a video on. There was a big team split, and then so Terere left the Alliance and formed the TT team. And then from there, we got from that line split, we got so many different teams. So it's a interesting topic on itself. Um, so Terere kept competing, and then unfortunately, I think in the mid 2000s, maybe like 2004, he had some issues while traveling on on a plane in America. And if you guys don't know, in America, you can't mess around on those planes. So if you're holding up a flight, or you're arguing, or something's going on the flight and they have to stop it because of you, and if you're just traveling, you're not a citizen, man, it really makes it hard for you to come back to America. So I think after that point, Terere, he couldn't come back to America, and then that's kind of where he had his decline. So he had a very big and very well-known struggle, just drugs and disorders such as like schizophrenia. So he went from being like one of the brightest stars in jiu-jitsu to being a former shell of himself. But through just the jiu-jitsu community, I remember around this time, people were doing like fundraisers, and there was even a T-shirt. It's like, I don't remember, I think it was like Save Terere. So I think jiu-jitsu community really saw him like man, he's not doing well. This really great world champion, he's not doing well. So the jiu-jitsu community really bonded together to help him, and help get him back on his feet. And luckily, Terere, he's doing a lot better. And I think he's even done a few competitions since his decline, and he's still competing, he's still training and still teaches. I know he travels to Europe a lot, so I know he's doing really well. And in addition to all this, I think he's just, man, he's just done so much for jiu-jitsu, and I think it's just hard to convey to you guys just like how much he's affected me, and just the techniques that we're doing now, like Terere. Before him, I don't know where they came from. So moves like those leg drags, and just the dynamic passing that he was really well known for. Like, man, no one was really doing that stuff before Terere, and just his showmanship. So you guys can, I'll link some videos down in the description. But man, Terere he's just one of those one in a million type characters, where he just came out of nowhere. He was just great, and man, he was just made for jiu-jitsu, and really really changed the art form. So that's something that not a lot of people can say. So if you guys want to see more videos like this covering just, those jiu-jitsu people, those past stars, or those maybe those people that are not well known, just guys, hit me up in the comment section, and of course, give me a like, thumbs up, and subscribe. And until my next video, guys, ciao, peace.